Hi there everyone, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at 3 different BetterPress plates. And these are Christmas ones. BetterPress is made by Spellbinders if you are unfamiliar. And no, I haven't really done any videos on these before. These are awesome. And the reason I went ahead and got the BetterPress is because I love the idea that my foiling plates could be used as well. So we'll talk about each of those as we are going through, but this is the paper I'm going to be using. There are 3 different colors there, and that paper is the BetterPress paper. It's a little bit thicker than your regular paper, so you can get a good impression on there. And what I'm going to be doing is what I like to call underpainting. I'm going to start with this first piece of paper. And this is more of the gray that I started with, I think. I think it's the gray one. And I've pounced some color onto a matte. That color is the Prom Queen by Hurley Create. And I'm going to try to do a little bit of an ombre look going on. And I'm going to pounce that color right back in on top of what I've already done after I've dried it. And that'll just add a little bit more texture to that. And I'm already kind of in love with that. But yeah, so I'll bring in the next color, which is called Rosy Cheeks, and then the final color will be called Piggyback. But let me talk a little bit about the BetterPress since I haven't done like a video on the BetterPress. There are so many that are out there. So many people unboxed it for the first time. I did kind of start one of those, and I thought, well, there are so many out there. I don't know if somebody's interested in another one. So, yeah, I just didn't actually edit it and put it out there. The BetterPress is just a really cool system. It puts like it's called press. It presses your image into your paper and leaves an impression. And it's letterpress. It's so cool. I know you've seen it, and it's hard to see on camera. It's something you really just have to experience for yourself. But after doing it a couple times, I was pretty hooked. So hooked, in fact, that I'm already planning on getting more of the BetterPress colors because I haven't really tried using any of the inks that I do have to try and get that impression in there. But I did buy a big old thick thing of the paper because there is a difference. You know, if you really want it to actually do what it's supposed to do, which is, press into your paper and leave that impression. Otherwise, it's just kind of stamping on there, which is still cool, but the whole idea of the BetterPress is to press it into the paper and leave that impression. All right, for this one, I brought in some Later Gator, and I'm just sticking to that color being mostly on the edge of the paper, trying to leave the white in the center, and there's a reason for that, because that one is going to be for a specific plate. I mean, each of these is going to be for a specific plate that I'm making, but yeah. And so that final one I'm going to bring in 2 different colors, and they're going to be very subtle and very light. I'm starting with a blue. That is the Breakup Blue by Hurley Create, and I'm just pouncing that all over that background, heat setting that, and then I'm going to bring in some Tropical Tango and just pounce that into a few areas because that Breakup Blue is very, very subtle on that background. But this is just a really great way to get a foundation of some color, and then that takes some of that pressure off if you're planning to watercolor, which is what I'm planning to do. Now, that first one I made was a lot more intense simply because the press plate that I'm going to be using doesn't have anything that I need to watercolor, and so I really wanted that background to be the star of the show along with the pressed plate image. All right, so heat setting that, then we're going to move on to doing the BetterPress system. And like I said, it's a really cool system, and if you have foil plates, you can do it with that as well. So there are my 3 backgrounds. Love how those turned out. Now let's bring in the BetterPress. I'm not going to talk too much about the way the BetterPress is set up. It has shims behind that magnetic plate. The gray piece is the magnetic plate. Obviously, it has some markings on there for A2 and A7 cards. I will say I don't love the tape that comes with the BetterPress. It is way too strong, in my opinion, and it rips my paper, so I don't love that. So I use mint tape. Mint tape doesn't rip anything. It's basically like a Post-it tape paper, and it works just fine. I'm going to bring in that first plate. The first plate that I'm bringing in is called Chic Merry Christmas. And it's neat because that magnetic gray shim on there has the markings so you can try and get everything nice and lined up. And then I'm going to bring in the ink that came with my BetterPress, which is just this black ink. And I believe it is more of a archival ink. And then you just kind of pounce and twist as you're getting that ink on there. And then I'll run that through my Platinum 6. Don't run it back and forth. You'll get ghosting. You just need to run it through one time. And then voila. Is that not super cool? Like I said, it doesn't do it justice in the camera to show you how that's pressed into the paper, but it is so neat. And I love how that turned out. Now to clean my plates off, I just use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. This is a 91%. It doesn't hurt my plates. It doesn't hurt the background, and I just use a microfiber cloth. And it doesn't necessarily like get that entire background completely clean, but I don't care. You know, I'm what I'd like to consider an artist, so I've got messes. And my stuff looks used. That's just how it is. All right, so bringing in this next plate. That next plate is called Holiday Foliage Joy, and it's got 2 pieces to it. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with this one, using our mint tape, lining everything up on those plates. And then, you know, you just flip this over once you've got your ink that you're pouncing and twisting onto your plate. You'll flip everything over, run that through your machine, and you'll have a nice impression. And then the final one that I end up using is called the Christmas Greetings plate. And I'm not going to show you that one, but I will show you the card at the end. So there that is. That's beautiful. Love it. And then we're going to just watercolor on these. This is where the magic of an underpainting is fabulous. These are fairly detailed plates as it is, but when you add like you've already got a background kind of started, and then I'm watercoloring over the top of it, you have a base. And so that leaves you a little less work, in my opinion. You know, obviously add your shading and stuff where you want to add it, but I got kind of lazy at the end and just kind of put some color on there, and didn't worry so much about whether it looked perfectly shadowed and shaded or not, because that underpainting does a lot of the work for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and increase the speed here where I don't paint this fast, obviously. This is 8 times normal. And I'm not going to show you the painting on the other one that I ended up doing. I'll show you at the end what it looks like, but I mean, that's, again, the beauty of these underpaintings. And so I'll just keep coloring the berries, then we'll color up our leaves as well. Now, these plates were released, I want to say last month, and I just got them, and then I was on vacation, so I finally got a chance to play with them. But they're beautiful. These are going to make some very quick cards. And if you just did even just underpainting on the background, that you're still going to have some fairly quick cards. But that first one, that Chic Merry Christmas, man, imagine the cards you could, you know, pump out with that one. And you could do it like, you know, you saw the background I made. Just by pouncing color, you could easily, you know, blend color as well. And here are our finished cards. These ended up being so fun. I did some splatter on that background. But I love how these turned out. And those underpaintings just change it. Like, it just brings everything, makes it that much easier. I do hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.